Load up on diuretics and get ready to make a mess of the bathroom of Shady Maple Smorgasbord. It's a 1991 Cadillac Brougham.
Never before have I entered a vehicle so perfectly poised to smoke Marlboro Golds and listen to Jackson Browne. Yeah, and the Commodores and 38 Special. I want to eat raw beef out of a plastic bag. I want to look at vintage porn where all I can see is bush. Oh, holy Terra, yes. Look at this magnificent, long, plush, divine, glorious assemblage of American detritus. The Cadillac Brougham is wonderful and awful at the same time. Every corner is a production. Thin tires squeal and protest. Your body slides away from the steering wheel because these seats feel like a blow-up mattress that you avalanche off of in the middle of the night. It doesn't absorb bumps. It just spreads the bumps out over 2 touchdowns. Wherever you go, your hood ornament gets there first. Cadillac Brougham. Brought to you by Instant Coffee, Super Poly Grip, and trying to order donuts at a trendy coffee shop.
What do you mean? You got baked goods in the counter right there, so bake me up a dozen donuts.
Sir, we serve muffins and bagels and banh mi sandwiches.
And I have American dollar bills. I should get what I want. I'm a customer. Oh, I just shit my pants again.
This is a terrible car. It offers customers no technology, no reliability, no build quality, no refinement, or even pride in manufacturing. And yet, the American public at large calls the Cadillac Brougham the last true Cadillac because it is a body-on-frame, rear-wheel drive, square vehicle. It has the underlying
Chevy 350
small block, shout out to the back lot, making, you ready? Okay, 350 cubic inches. That's 5.7 liters. It's an iron block V8 and it makes 180 horsepower. And if that's too much for you, you can have the Chevy 305. That's a 5-liter V8 that makes 170, a little bit tamer
for the little lady.
185 horsepower?
Yep.
Come on, 350. What do you got? Oh, she's going. Oh, I'm in kilometers an hour still. There's 48 miles an hour. There's 51, 52, 53, 54, 55 miles an hour. There's 59 miles. There's 60. What these things were like when all the bushings and rubber were new. I can feel all the plastics moving around, typical GM.
I'm still kind of sorting out, the minor things, but, the car runs and drives very well. I'm just trying to get it absolutely silent like it was when it was new.
Yeah. There is quite a bit of wind noise, but then again, this is not an aerodynamic car.
No, I mean, it's built like a shopping cart, pretty much, like a brick.
And that gigantic Cadillac emblem on the hood.
Right. So for the 31 other emblems on the car, you can always see that in your line of sight.
Yes. Yes, I hear you. 300 foot-pounds of torque. Yeah. Today's episode of Regular Car Reviews is sponsored by Brooklyn Bedding. This is a normal mattress. Ugh. This is a Brooklyn Bedding mattress. Whoop. Ah. Notice the bounce.
Wow.
Regular
amazing
mattress. Whoop. Ugh. Brooklyn Bedding. Oh, yeah, nice.
Now that is what I want to see. I have an ambulance. Can I have this mattress delivered to the campground?
Yes, you can. You get free shipping throughout the United States or your campground. Brooklyn Bedding will deliver your mattress rolled up in a big giant burrito. You get it, take the wrapping off, and it just unfolds into a bed.
Nice.
Plus these extra soft, extra cool. That's another thing. These things keep you cool in the summertime. And if you're a hot sleeper, there's also the Copper Flex line, which has memory foam with copper particles in it that help keep you cool, clean, and comfortable all night. The best part about all of this is that Brooklyn Bedding mattresses are designed and shipped from their Arizona factory directly to you. This means they're able to use premium materials and keep the cost down.
Good.
All of the mattresses are designed by master craftsmen who have been doing this for 25 plus years. Anytime I have friends over at the house, over there, the firm, no, people don't like that one. I always see friends ending up here on the Brooklyn bedding mat.
I shall try it.
Plus, with Brooklyn bedding, you get a 120 night sleep trial.
Neat.
You can try these mattresses out for 120 nights.
Oh, yeah.
Visit brooklynbedding.com/regular car reviews to get 30% off your order with my code regular car reviews. That's brooklynbedding.com/regular car reviews to get 30% off your order with my code regular car reviews.
Oh. Nice.
This car is from 1991. So this Cadillac and the W140 Mercedes existed side by side. The W140 looked to the future of what a luxury car could be, and the Cadillac Brougham looked to the past of what it once was. Because in the early 1990s, the past is all Cadillac had. Remember how I said people called this the last true Cadillac? Well, it isn't. Because in my opinion, as opinion others share as well, Cadillac ended in 1977 when GM consolidated all their brands. So pre-1977, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Buick, Chevy, and Cadillac, they all had unique engines and parts offered in their catalog. Each individual sub-brand was a company into itself. So in the 60s, when you ordered a Cadillac, you could strut away from your lead sled knowing that your car was special because it had a Cadillac engine, special Cadillac upholstery, a Cadillac body. And Pontiac and Oldsmobile and Buicks too had their own class-specific traits. But in 1977, GM said, look, we can't keep holding all this inventory for all of you. We have all these SKUs, all these part numbers, all this incompatibility. We can't stay competitive with the rest of the world with all this overhead. So starting this year, all of you, everybody, you listening? Look up. We're all using Chevy engines.
No.
I don't want to share. This isn't fair. You said we could have our own. And in real life, Cadillac lovers were like,
This is ridiculous. I work my fingers to the bone, and I can't have something. Now you're telling me I can't have something nice to call my own? Well, it's time for me to go eat a bowl of Golden Grams and Percocets.
That's why Cadillac back in the 1960s were revered for, by American standards, build quality, engineering, prestige, and everybody involved in the production of real Cadillacs knew they were building a unique creation. But after the 1977 consolidation, Cadillacs just became badged up Chevys. This 1991 Cadillac Brougham is just a third generation Chevy Caprice D-body. Same as a 9C1 police car or a taxi cab. It's not special. And the advertisements from the day knew this. The 1998 ad for the Brougham said the words classic and traditional every 8 seconds or so, like a philandering politician says the words hard-working Americans in their stump speeches. When advertisements weren't wrapping this car in American flags, they were attempting to highlight its features. Features like the push-button trip meter, the 4-speed transmission with overdrive. It's a 4L60, relax. Convenience lamps, map lights. Entry illumination system. It's lights on the inside of the doors. Soft close trunk. Okay, that's kind of neat, but Mercedes had that too, but whatever. Fully independent front suspension. What, like every passenger car since the 1950s? Simulated full red walnut interior. Colored plastic. Electronically tuned AC Delco AM/FM stereo receiver with tape cassette. It's a radio. Oh, class, you're going to want to write down tape cassette, 2 words. You want to go write that down because that's going to be on the quiz later. Twilight Sentinel. Automatic high and low beams. See, when language gets long, offerings fall short. And when badges go up, quality goes down. How many Cadillac logos are on this car? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, technically not it, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inside, okay, we're up to 10 on the outside.
All right, so the opera lights, each side has one.
Okay, that's 12. This is Reese, no emblem in here, so we're still on 12. Steering wheel, 13. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
And on all 4 of the door locks.
No. 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh no. 23. Wait, so we're at 23.
Did you get this one?
Yes, we're still at 23. Is there one up here? 24.
Yeah.
25.
Oh my God, you're right.
This 26, 27, 28. We're up to 28.
29 and 30 and I think
30.
is there another one? Oh, 31.
Where's the 31st? Oh, the middle seat.
Yeah.
31 times. 1991 Cadillac Brougham. The official car of retirement homes that smell like smoke, leather, and Bakelite rotary phones that never ring. We're Cadillac. In the 90s, our cars look like they're from the 80s and they aspire to be the Cadillacs of the 70s. The pre-oil crisis days when Cadillac meant you could have an ashtray in every room of your house and no one would ever complain about the smell. When your 6-year-old could fix you a highball and networking meant forming bonds over shared racism. When Cadillac still meant Cadillac. Before the hip-hop genre took over and gave the silent generation free rein to hate to their full potential. That's what Cadillac was going for here in 1991. A car that harks back to a bygone America and aims squarely at retirees who wanted nothing more for every day to be exactly the same. The Cadillac Brougham represents a kind of intellectual stagnation that made Cadillac less and less relevant in luxury spaces as the years rolled on. Because this isn't what Cadillac needed to be doing in the early 90s. You had BMW and Mercedes adapting, and you had Acura and Lexus on the scene. All of those other brands proved that you could make cars and appeal to nostalgic interests while still being modern, but Cadillac just made something for people in Florida with 3 or 4 years of good driving left. It wouldn't be until the 2000s when they came out with the CTS-V that Cadillac finally got its swagger back. Cadillac is a weird brand in that they feel authentically inauthentic. Cadillac is a politician trying to appeal to the common man, rolling up the sleeves of his starched shirt and ordering the messiest cheesesteaks he can get at Pat's and Gino's. Ugh, tourist. They'll hold a bite for a 2 Mississippi, just long enough for the photo op, and then spit that into the nearest trash bin. And honestly, if you're ordering for Pat's and Gino's, that's where that food belongs. A politician will tell you more about who they are by showing you who they aren't. And it's the same with Cadillac and its trickle-down traditionalism. And the thing is, don't get me wrong, I love this car. I love driving it, but I'm under no impression that this is what Cadillac should have been doing in 1991. Maybe in the 80s, you could have built an ad campaign around Ronald Reagan having an Armwood Fleetwood Brougham as his official state car during his presidency. Maybe sell people on the idea that this is more than just a popular limousine conversion option. You could say it's tough, it's durable, it's luxurious, and do I wish a manual existed instead of the 4-speed 4L60? Of course. This is a 2-ton tank, and it's one of the last big traditional body-on-frame American luxury sedans of its era, running on the GM D platform, which in this era was just the C platform that moved 1 letter down on Alphabet Avenue. But while it sold well enough in 1991, it also felt like it was riding the last fumes of a fading aesthetic era. The Cadillac Brougham is the slow death of Malaise luxury, and the home for a body style that looks older than it is. This is 1991. The Toyota MR2 SW20 existed alongside this anachronistic vehicle. 1991 Cadillac Brougham. This is not a car for boomers. I'll bet you thought that was who I was making fun of. But no, this was a car for the boomers' parents, the greatest generation. See, in the early 1990s, boomers were only in their mid-40s. Boomers weren't buying this. They were buying minivans in 1991 and SUVs. I mean, they were then what some elder millennials and the Zennial subgeneration are now in 2026. No, the greatest generation, or G generation, were in their 80s in 1991. All they wanted was to see their grandchildren. Not interact or talk or care. They just wanted their bequeathed genetics presented to them. They wanted to ask their grandkids questions, the answers of which they didn't care to hear. You like school, don't you? You're growing, aren't you? You like your parents, don't you? Do you want to sit with me? Here's a present, a box of stationery. Now write me a thank you letter. The G generation behaved like house cats, sat up high and received objects to sniff and either approve or reject. Same food every day, same window staring, same crotchety behavior at sundown. They had their favorite music, TV channel, records, and topics of conversation. And if each day was Groundhog Day, that would be just fine for them. Okay, class, remember when I said write down tape cassettes? Why do you think they said tape cassette in the ad for this car? Because the greatest generation had a distinction between tape and cassette. Tape meant a reel-to-reel player. A tape cassette meant the little cartridge. Anyway, everybody pass your papers one row over, and we're going to grade each other's papers. Yo, Jimmy, bust too soon. Change my answer.
My name is Bustison.
The G generation was very different from the boomers, who still in 2026 want to rule and dominate every environment, never retire, and hoard land and assets. But the G generation passed on their wealth and cruised into retirement. That was the goal, after all. And that's what the Cadillac Brougham was made for. Every control in this car uses words, not symbols. Seats look like Barca loungers. Door handles are hinged like kitchen drawers, in which they keep the good silverware. Take a moment and think of all the cultural events that occurred in 1991 alone. Freddie Mercury died. Glam metal ended. Guns N' Roses released Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. A Tribe Called Quest released Low End Theory. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, REM Out of Time, and Nirvana's Nevermind. Desert Storm kicked off. Yugoslavia broke up. And the USA's heavy involvement in Middle Eastern affairs began in earnest. Germany became fully independent after the fall of the wall. Apartheid ended in South Africa. And in the movie theater, we got Terminator 2, Silence of the Lambs, Beauty and the Beast, Oliver Stone's JFK, Thelma and Louise, all in 1 year. It's not like the G generation wanted to ignore cultural and political change. They just were indifferent. It's time to retire. If you put my grandpa in a W140, he would indifferently say, too complicated, and then get back into his Lincoln Town car. He was a Ford guy. That's what he liked. With all that said, I can see these cars getting a new life today because just of how blank of a canvas it gives you. It's a Chevy 350. You can do whatever you want mods-wise, well, except for headers, since there isn't enough room for them, which is weird because there's so much lateral space, but there's not actually a whole lot of depth in this engine bay. For what it's worth, this is in better condition than its age would suggest. And that's probably a combination of Michael's maintenance and the fact that it sat in a barn for 15 years, never being touched by the elements. This was previously owned by a mechanic who intended to use it for a parts car but just never got around to it. And he bought it from an estate of an aerospace executive from Philly who died in 2010. And there's little indication that he drove it that much either. It's not in showroom condition or anything. There's bumpers hanging off. But it doesn't look all that far off from what a used 1991 Brougham would look like when it was rolling around still in 2005. And I have to think part of it is how these colors pop. And from a functional standpoint, this is pre-OBD2. So onboard diagnostics are basically just you hold 2 buttons down on the climate control, and the computer tells you if something is wrong. Cadillac Brougham, sponsored by bump parkers who are always hitting stuff. This car is the reason parking ballers exist. Arguably the biggest thing holding this back from a recommendation for people in the market for a unique classic car is that it costs a fortune to fill this fuel tank, which is around 25 gallons. And even then, the fuel economy isn't the worst in the world considering its size. It's about 16 miles per gallon city, 25 on the highway. I think a lot of that comes down to that 308 rear end and the fact that this is one of the first applications of the modern 4L60 transmission. I know it's not the big 4L80, but let's be honest, this is not a big block. And the 4L60 is an overdrive transmission. I mean, another big problem is electrical. GM isn't known for having good electrics, especially in the 80s and 90s. And it's not because things aren't turning on, but rather things aren't turning off. Like headlights, wipers, and the heater fan. In the middle of this, I hit the hazard lights just because they were there, and then they didn't turn off. And then Michael told us about this time where the starter wouldn't disengage. I guess it's not a huge surprise for its age, but it's not great that stuff like this happens as often as it does. It's just the price baked into a classic car. And this is a classic car, even if Delaware has given Michael a hard time about it. Basically, Michael met with the governor to get legislation going to waive the emissions on pre-1996 cars. Delaware is weird. And for people outside the US, the rules are different in every single state. He tells us that they're currently working on drafting some Delaware legislation to make it easier to get these cars registered and exempt from certain inspection requirements. In fact, the state senator he's working with actually owns a classic car, so maybe he's got a leg up there. But this speaks to the reality that we're seeing in early 90s vehicles and now some early 2000 models, which is that as these cars become eligible for classic plates, it feels like the hurdles you have to jump through to get those plates are just getting higher. Of course, this is going to have a lot to do with where you live. It varies state to state in the US. So trust me when I say that we're thankful for every classic car anybody wants to let us review, because I know from experience what a headache a classic car can be.